So we are doing our first chapter, class 11th, units and measurements. And in units and measurement, we discussed a lot about measurement in our previous lecture. So today lecture is measurement of length. In our physical world, we are dealing with two types of physical quantities. One is microscopic physical quantity, other is macroscopic physical quantity. I already told you that when we are dealing with the microscopic physical quantities, then the problem is how to determine their size. But it is very easy at the macroscopic level to find out the size of the object. We are familiar with some direct method for the measurement of length. A meter scale is used for the measurement of length from 10 to power minus 3 meter to 10 to power 2 meter. We are using a screw gauge and a spherometer that can be used to measure length as less as 10 raised to the power minus 5 meter. So this is my screw gauge. I am just giving a very brief introduction of the screw gauge, but in our next lecture, in our coming lecture, we will discuss the screw gauge in detail. So object whose size is to be measured that is placed in this gap, and this is called anvil. Anvil is fixed. Spindle is movable. Sleeve of the screw gauge, thimble of the screw gauge, and this is called ratchet of the screw gauge. And this U shape, this is called the frame of the screw gauge. The object whose dimensions, whose size is to be measured, that is kept between the anvil and the spindle. Similarly, a spherometer is used to find out the length of the very small scale object. We will discuss this parameter in our upcoming lecture. A vernier caliper is also used to measure length as less as 10 to power minus 4 meter. The vernier caliper that can measure very, very small length. So this is a brief overview of the vernier caliper. This is the jaw for measuring outer dimension. These are the jaws for measuring the outer dimension of the object. Suppose we want to find out the outer diameter of a glass, outer diameter of a cup of tea. So we will place the cup of tea over here in between these two jars so we can find out the outer dimension, outer diameter. Similarly, if we want to find out the inner diameter of a glass, then these two jars, they are kept inside the glass. And it is my vernier scale, it is my main scale, and stem, it is a type of scale which can be extended and it is used to measure the depth of the object. Suppose we want to measure the depth of the glass or depth of any object like glass. So with the help of this stem that can be measured. We will discuss the screw gauge, spherometer, and vernier caliper in special lecture of screw gauge, spherometer, and vernier caliper. Then we will discuss uh, how to handle all these equipments. Large distances, such as the distance of a planet or a star from the Earth, cannot be measured directly with a meter scale because meter scale is a small scale. Such large distances they cannot be measured with the help of a meter scale, which is used in our daily life. An important method, a powerful tool, a scientific method which is helpful in finding such a large distances is called the parallax method. So before going to the parallax method, so what is the parallax? By simple experiment, we can find out the meaning of parallax. So you take a distant wall at a quite distance from you and make a spot on that wall. And the condition is that the wall from our eyes that should be at a sufficient distance, or at least 10 to 15 meter away from us. if we want to understand parallax very clearly. So take a wall which is 10 to 15 meters away from you, make a spot on the wall, close your left eye and then observe the spot, and then close your right eye, observe the spot. So what you will find, you will observe two different locations of that point on the wall. So the two different positions on the wall of that particular spot, that is called parallax. So this is called parallax. And the distance between the 2 points of observation is called the basis. The distance between the 2 points of observation is called the basis. So first you close the left eye and you locate the object on the wall. Then you open the left eye and close the right eye, and again you locate the object. Now you find there is a distance between the two spots observed by two eyes. So that distance is called the basis. The distance d, capital D, of faraway planet P is measured by observing it from two different places on the Earth. So now we are going to find out how to find the distance of a faraway object from the Earth. So suppose this is our AB is our Earth and this is the Sun, and we are interested in finding the distance d of the Sun from the Earth. So I will choose one particular position A on the Earth, then I will move to the next position B on the Earth. A few meter, not in kilometer, a few meter, I will move from A to B. So the distance from A to B is taken as small b, and distance of Sun from point A as well as point B is taken as D, capital D. So this is the angle theta which is subtended while moving from point A to B. Because in comparison to this distance, capital D, small b, this distance AB, which is small b, it is very, very small. So we can take this straight line like an arc. So theta angle is equal to this arc upon radius. This will treat as a radius. So theta is equal to B upon D. Angle is equal to arc upon radius. So now this theta is called the parallax angle, and this can be now we can find out B is equal to d theta. So very easily, the distance of the star, distance of the sun from the earth, d is equal to b upon theta. It can be measured. Note this angle theta is called the parallax angle. It is also called parallactic angle, and B is small in comparison to D, so this B can be treated as an arc. So very easily by this parallax method, we can find out the distance of any far away object from the surface of the earth. So D, B we know, theta we know, so very easily this large distance can be calculated. No need to use any meter scale or any other method. By simple this mathematical treatment we can find out. So this is the parallax method of finding the distance of a faraway object from the surface of Earth. Similarly, we can find out the size of a star. We can find out the diameter of the sun. We can find out the diameter of the moon. So it is also very easy. No need to go to the moon and just measuring it from one part to the other part. While sitting on the earth, it is very easy. Locate the diametrically opposite point of on the moon with the help of your telescope, and we call these 2 points as M and N. So M is diametrically opposite point on the moon observed by our telescope. N is diametrically opposite point on the moon observed in our telescope. So while we shift our telescope from point M to N, the angle is alpha. Again, it is a parallactic angle. Alpha, you can take it theta, you can take it any angle. So basically, it's an angle which is called the parallax angle. So the same technique, um, so mark this M to N distance is small d. So this is the diameter small d. So same small d that is equal to capital D distance of that means the radius of that star or radius of the moon in this case from the surface of Earth. Alpha is the parallax angle. So we can find out alpha is equal to small d upon capital D. So here from here we can find out this diameter. So diameter is equal to this capital D, the distance of moon from the earth, it is known. Alpha, it is known, so we can find out the diameter of the moon. So with the help of the parallax method, it is very easy to find out the distance of a faraway object from the surface of earth. The second, it is very easy to find out the diameter of any star. Estimation of very small distances. Now, the case is that it is very easy to find out the size of the moon, the diameter of the moon. But the problem is at the microscopic level. How to find out the size of a molecule? So for that, we are using a special technique. We are using a special tool which is called a tunneling microscope, or the complete name is STM, scanning tunneling microscope. So with the help of scanning tunneling microscope, the diameter of a molecule, the radius of a molecule, the size of a molecule, the size of an atom, that can be found out. The size of a molecule can be estimated by a simple method also. So I am explaining a very practical method by which we can find out the size of the molecule. So for that, we have to do a small experiment. It's a chemistry type experiment. So here we are interested in finding the molecular size of oleic acid. What is the molecular size of oleic acid, which is a diluted solution of oleic acid in alcohol? So we will prepare a dilute solution of oleic acid in alcohol with some concentration C, and lycopodium powder is spread on the surface of water taken in a trough. We use a trough and lycopodium powder, which is used in surgery and which is used in some explosive material also. So when this lycopodium powder, it comes into contact with air, it becomes flammable, it becomes explosive. So that powder is spreaded in water, and n drop of solution, n drops are prepared having volume V, they are put in the water. The drops spread into a thin, large and roughly circular film of molecular thickness on the water surface. The diameter of the thin film is measured to get its area. The thickness of the, now how to find out thickness of the film? So thickness of the film, that will give the size of the molecule, because it's a monomolecular layer deposited on the surface of water. So definitely the size of the molecule, that will be equal to thickness of the film. Now thickness of the film, that can be calculated volume of the film divided by area of the film. So thickness of the film T is equal to volume of the film divided by area of the film. Volume of the film we know, area of the film we know, so thickness of the film we can find out. And this thickness of film, is nothing but it's the actual size of the molecule. So it's a very simple method to find out the molecular size. I already told you it's very easy to find out the diameter of moon, to find out the diameter of earth, to find out the diameter or the size of any big object, but quite difficult when we are dealing with the molecular level. So at molecular level, we have to use certain techniques. So in this technique, I told you how to find out thickness of the film, and with the help of the thickness of the film, how the size of the molecule can be found out. Thank you. We will continue the same lecture with some new concept. Thanks a lot.